Now I want to actually move into the difference you're making in East Africa. What is the work you do, Suaad Abdulle, in Kenya, in Nairobi in particular?
Thank you so much. So, as I initially said, I'm an educator, particularly for children with special educational needs or disability. And I have come back home, and I call home East Africa because that's where I grew up. So I originally from Somalia. And during the Civil War, I actually came to live in Nairobi for a couple of years before I moved to the United Kingdom in the early 90s. And I came back practically every few years to Nairobi because that's where I felt home. And for those of you who immigrant in the West will always know, when you're an immigrant in a country where you are not originally from, you always go back to where you're from, and you just look for that kind of like belonging.
Yeah.
And so I decided in 2017, I came for holiday for 2016, and I looked around the education system, looked at how the system worked, and I realized there was a gap in the system, both in Kenya and in Somalia. Yeah. And I decided to come back. At the time, I was actually doing in my master's research. And I went back and I said to my husband, I'm going to move back to Nairobi. And it's like, are you crazy? Like, are you just going to leave us? And it's like, yeah. I said, I got my calling.
Yeah.
And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go back to Nairobi and I will take the two younger kids, stay with the older ones. Let me figure it out, and then you guys can join me later. Yeah. So I moved here. I started from the ground. I did not have a job to come to. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to make a difference in the education sector.
When did you move back, Suaad?
So I officially moved back in 2017.
Wow.
To Nairobi. For about 6 months, I've looked around, I've looked at the system. I struggled, to be honest with you. When you had everything figured out where you lived and you were starting over, initially I struggled. But then because I knew what I was doing, I thought, no, let's stick out. So I got a job as a diaspora expert in Somalia with the UN to work with the government of Somalia. And that has made a huge difference in my outlook, because in Kenya, at least they had policy, they had systems, there were KISA, Kenya Institute of Special Education. Like Kenya started including children with special needs in the 80s.
Wow.
But then I went to Somalia where there was nothing. Like the education system was broken. Obviously, the country is rebuilding. Yeah. So they didn't even have nothing for individuals with difference. Yeah. So I started from ground zero.
Wow.
I built up a unit in the ministry. I created policies. I created systems, and I worked there for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, because again, I left my 2 kids in Nairobi. Yeah. I was working in Mogadishu. Wow. It felt guilty. So I was living in 3 countries. Like my husband and 3 older children were in London. My 2 young kids were in Nairobi, and I was in Mogadishu, and it didn't work. Yeah. So 2020, the COVID, I worked in Mogadishu. So 2021, I said, okay, I'm going to move back to Nairobi. We set up a home because the kids were with my brother. Yeah. So we set up a home. One of my older kids moved back with me, my daughter, who's now actually finished her uni at USIU. Wow. I'm currently finishing her master's in the UK. Wow. And that's when I focused in Kenya, particularly in Nairobi, looking at policy, worked with Kenya Institute of Special Education, looked at what they do. Yeah. And the idea of opening a center came up to me. So in 2024, I opened a center in Parkland, and I support children who currently cannot enter in mainstream education, but also are not fit for specialist provision. Yeah. So they're kind of in the middle. So we're kind of bridging the gap between specialist provision and mainstream education. So I'm also an assessor, which I left out. You know, when you have so many things that you do, you realize, okay, you always leave out something. So I'm actually a certified assessor on educational ability testing. I'm actually the only person in whole of Kenya right now, in whole of East Africa, who is qualified to assess children cognitively on educational purposes.
Amazing.
So that has kind of helped me. So now in our center, we have 30 students who are all struggling in education, but made huge progress while they're with us.
Yeah.
But not only that, I also write educational articles and publish in conferences, kind of look at currently where inclusive education in Kenya and also in Somalia. So my work is not just Kenya, but also in Somalia.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at throughout East Africa. So I'm looking at how we can increase assessors.
Yeah.
At the moment in Kenya, we only do functional assessment.
Okay.
We don't do psychometric assessment, which I'm qualified for.
Okay.
Think a few
and what's the
high-end private schools bring a specialist from the UK.
Yeah.
The difference is that the psychometric assessment is a standardized assessment designed children to assess their cognitive ability when it comes to education.
Okay.
Functional assessment, we look at the low level of basic education, basic functional assessment like independent living. So we're looking at the higher level cognitive ability. Yeah. So sometimes a child might be autistic, but they're functionally high.
Okay.
So sometimes because they're nonverbal and they're not speaking, we can undervalue them in terms of education. So when we assess cognitively, then we know that they're cognitively able. We push the communication and then we can push their educational levels. So that's what I do. And honestly, it's working. And the difference that we're making right now is to parents to realize that their child have a potential regardless of their level of ability. So we don't measure children based on their disability or learning difference. We measure based on what they can learn and what they can observe from within their community.
Amazing. Like I can see, Suaad, the light that comes when you're talking about the work you do, and can see really like you love what you do, Allahumma barik. And so if I ask you what inspired you like to do this work?
I think what inspires me is me, because I myself live with learning disability. I actually have severe learning difficulty, namely dyslexia. So when I went to the UK in my early teens, I always knew I struggled in education, because when my sibling are doing A-star in the exams, I was getting fail. But then when the teacher asks me to explain the paper that I just failed, verbally, I was extremely higher than my sibling and my classmates. So the teachers couldn't understand that I had reading and writing disability, which called dyslexia. In my time, obviously, even in the West, they didn't have a name for it. So when I was assessed in the UK, I was actually... when it comes to intelligence, and that's the assessment that I do, I was top 2% in the United Kingdom. But in literacy, I was below primary.
Wow.
So what taught me that is that there's a lot of children who are cognitively smart, able, but because they have a learning difference or learning difficult, whether it's dyslexia, which is English and literacy, whether it's dyscalculia, it's mathematical problem, whether it's dysgraphia, writing problem, whether it's dyspraxia, motor movement difficulties. And when you look at those children, they look normal. They don't have any disability that you can actually see. So that has realized me. And now sitting in front of you, I still struggle with writing. I still struggle with spelling. But I'm a PhD candidate.
Wow.
So that shows you that having a learning difficulty does not stop you reaching your goals in academia, but people need to understand how you learn and how your brain functions.
Yeah.
So I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
I learn visually and I learn kinesthetically, meaning I learn doing things or I learn watching and seeing things. So therefore, all my education, I've been provided for that.
Yeah.
So that is what made me passionate about it. I don't want the children to be left out.
Yeah.
And if I had grown up in East Africa, I probably wouldn't have the opportunity that I have now.
Yeah.
Because people wouldn't understand my disability.
Yeah.
And when I say to people, do I look like someone who have a disability? They actually say to me, are you having a laugh?
Yeah.
Because you sound smart.
Yeah.
I do, but I still struggle with reading and writing. I use technology. AI, people are loving it. I've been using AI for almost 25 years.
Wow. And I just get to know it for the past 2 years.
Yes, I was the guinea pig for AI.
Allahumma barik. So mashallah, like this is like mind blowing. Allahumma barik. And like the courage that you had to push through that disability, like that you had, especially dyslexia, as you said, and that you worked on yourself, not just to overcome it, but also to have that vision to support the community, like especially giving back to your community, to your African community, and coming back to East Africa to establish and teach others about that. Like this is like amazing. Like I don't know what to do. I have a lot of questions, but we have to stick to the time because I want to respect your time. I know you have work after this. But maybe we need to bring you again because like you are amazing. If I just ask you like what changes you hope to see in East Africa and how you want the mothers to be supported and empowered and valued in East Africa community.
Okay. First and foremost, honestly, as I said, Kenya is advancing in terms of inclusive education, in terms of policy.
Yeah.
What I would love to see is practice. We have teachers who have been given the training to teach children within the mainstream school, but what they lack is practice. So what I love to see and what I'm in the work of, in the making, is giving teachers the practical aspect of inclusion, because inclusion means a lot. When you look at the word inclusion, it's so broad and so big, people sometimes forget how to do it. So I think what I would love to see is inclusive education practice, and no child is sent home just because they cannot grasp a concept that the teacher is trying to teach. What I also would love, and I think I might get a stick on this, Kenya has changed the curriculum to competence-based curriculum, which I love, because in the world of inclusion, competence-based curriculum is the go for, because children have an opportunity to practice the curriculum. I know a lot of parents in the Eastern East Africa, particularly Kenya, will say to me, "You don't understand." I do, because I have learning difficulty myself, and I'm a teacher myself, and I know if the teachers get the right training and understand how they can implement this curriculum, it will be a change, because that curriculum fits every child where they are. So I think that's what I would love to see. But I also would love to see moms coming out and saying, it is okay to have a child with special needs. You do not have to hide because of a stigma. You do not have to shy away because your child has a difference. Early intervention is key for children with additional needs. So please come out, talk to people. And if people are stigmatizing, it is okay, because that's out of ignorance. I don't think people want to stigmatize if they have knowledge. So your job is to educate everyone how they can, support your child.
Yeah, and talking about stigma, honestly, like there are some moms, even in the day and age that we live in 2026, as these episodes will come out, it's like they are not just ashamed, they are in denial. Like they'll say, I've seen some children that are on the spectrum and they clearly need help. But the mother, when you talk to her, she just like shuts you down, and she's just going to say, she says, no, like my child is okay. And what are you talking about? And so how do you address those moms who are in denial that these things exist? But again, it's not to call out your child or, put them in a box. There's actually interventions. You came out of it as well as somebody with disability, as you said, dyslexia. So what do you give for those moms?
Okay.
Advice?
First and foremost, we really need to understand mothers are going through grief, a loss.
Yep.
Because when you get pregnant, you have a vision of your child. You have this view of where they're going to end up when they become an adult.
Yeah.
So when someone says to you, your child is different, they're going to live this for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
That is hard to take.
It is.
As a mom, as a parent.
Yeah.
So what I would advise moms is okay to grieve. And the process of grief is 3. First stage is denial. So this denial thing is actually scientifically proven.
Okay.
It's part of grief.
Okay.
And then they go through the fixing period where they find everything in the world to fix their child because they don't want to be labeled. And then eventually they go through a depression.
Yeah.
Which finally they will get to acceptance. Some people, it takes them years. Some people, it takes them months.
Yeah.
It's a process that they have to go through. All I want to say to people, while they're going through that grief, support them. Yeah. Understand that it's okay to go through the grief.
Yeah.
And it's okay to eventually, they will get to the acceptance.
Yeah.
But if you can gently encourage them, don't wait too long. It's okay. You don't have to accept the condition. Labeling is only supports the professionals and eventually supports the parents don't feel that they are guilty.
Yeah.
And if you live in the West, obviously it supports financially because it unlocks financial incentives if your child is diagnosed.
Yeah.
So what I advise to the public and to the moms out there, if you see a parent who is in denial, it is okay. Gently just say to them, offer support and guidance to the professionals because the professionals know how to handle the denial.
Yeah.
So they just gently guide them. Don't just say to them, why are you denying? Child, you can see your child having, can you not? They can't see.
Yeah.
They know. But it's hard to accept. So just gently support them.
But what if they just shutting you down? Like you did the gentle part, but they're shutting you down. And also, I feel like this is a generational thing. Like I find this more in the Gen X. And so not more into the Gen Zs or millennium. They are more aware. So what do you say?
I feel like there is nothing anyone can do until they come out of it.
Yeah.
But I think if you can be just there to be the ear to listen, eventually I can tell you I've been doing this for 25 years plus. They will come around.
Okay.
I hope it's not too late for their child.
That's the thing.
All you can do is just nudge them gently in the right direction and allow them to eventually come to terms with it.
Yeah.
It's a process.
It is a process. And thank you for this. Because as I said to you before, it's just opening up in a lot of questions in my mind. My mind is firing up, but I know I have to stick to what we came here today for. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you actually care of your soul, mind, and body as Suaad? Because really this is about nourishment and the Nourished Podcast. So just wanted to know,
So what I preach to myself and to the moms out there is have 4 things that are non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. 1, sleep.
I love my sleep.
Sleep for me is non-negotiable. As a mom, everybody needs to have a minimum of 7 to 8 hours, but you need to know your minimum. So for me, between 5 to 7 hours is okay for me. Okay. So I have to have a minimum 5 to 6 hours, maximum 7 to 8 hours. So I have a benchmark of sleep and it's non-negotiable. And yes, you might not get it every single night, but I have a non-negotiable 5 days of the week. I sleep my sleep.
Okay.
2 days of the week, if I miss it and I have work that I need to stay up for a little bit, because sometimes I go live on TikTok and I might stay longer than usual.
Yeah.
But I know that 5 days of the week, non-negotiable, sleep. Second is nutrition, eating clean. It's really important when you're a mom and you're working really, really, really hard. You have to nourish your body with clean food. Again, I have a benchmark. No one can be eating clean 7 days a week, I must admit.
It's not
so
possible.
Have minimum at least 5 to 6 days eating clean and have a day of like doing whatever you want. So
meals.
The body kind of can manage.
Yeah.
The third is movement. That's where we met, gym.
The gym, yes.
So even if you cannot go to the gym, just go for a stroll. If you have young children, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Just do some form of 30 minutes a day movement. And then finally, nourish your soul. It's really important that you meditate. If you're a Muslim, read Quran. If you believe in another religion, anchor whatever you feel your spiritual nourishment.
Yeah.
Because this podcast might be listened to anybody.
Yeah.
So when you listen to it, wherever you are in your faith, take it in and nourish your soul. So for me, I meditate. I read the adhkar, and I just do the things that kind of connect me with God. I really love to connect with God. So those are the 4 non-negotiable self-care that I do, and I would advise moms to do. And I am high performance mom.
I love it, Betty. Yes, I love this. And do you have a special routines or habits that you have within your day that actually helps you to bring those 4 non-negotiables, and helps you to actually achieve them?
Yes. So the good thing is, as a Muslim, we pray 5 times a day.
Alhamdulillah.
So every time I stop for prayers, it enables me to kind of reconnect with myself and say, how am I doing? Mornings for me is the anchor. So the night before I go to bed, I have a list of things that I'm doing the day after, so that my mind can shut off and sleep and not worry about what I'm doing. And then when I wake up in the morning, I look at my list and I prioritize. And every single day, I have minimum between 20 to 30 minutes where I sit with myself and I just anchor it. I just feel, how am I doing? I literally reconnect with myself. And I've started this over the last 5 years since COVID, and it has helped me a lot. And that's what I advise moms to do. Just sit with yourself between 20 to 30 minutes. If you cannot have that time, sit 5 minutes with yourself.
And what are you doing? Are you journaling? Are you just...
It depends what ticks your box. For me, if I have a lot on my mind, I journal.
Okay.
If I don't, I just literally kind of listen to something.
Yeah.
I just do something that brings me joy.
Okay.
Whatever that is. So for me, I do journaling. I love journaling.
Yeah.
I love listening other podcasts that align to what I'm feeling at that moment. So I have a library of podcasts where I just save them and I just go back to it. And sometimes I just go for a walk, just clear my head. So it depends on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
the season of motherhood you are in.
Just sit with yourself.
When you have little kids, you might not have that. I love that you said even for 5 minutes to sit with yourself, because most of the times as moms, we don't sit with ourselves, and we don't even know who we are at this season of motherhood we are in, right? So just for me, it's journaling, and as you said, walking as well, just feeling my feelings and just what's happening with me. I'm just giving every day. Just check in with yourself. And I love that, because we don't do that often. We don't even get a breathe to know what we need as moms, isn't it? So thank you for mentioning that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And so, is that looking back, Suaad, what's what season of motherhood has taught you that changed the way you actually see life?
I think it is when my children get into teenage. And I realized they are their own person.
Yes.
Because you consume so much of being a perfect mother and trying to do so much for your kids and not enabling them to become independent. They realize, they suddenly say to you, Mom, I'm a grown up. And I have a mind of my own. And that's when you realize, oh, okay.
You're right.
I get you. You're right. And just stepping back a bit. That is the hardest part as a mom, because you just want to do so much for your kids. Yeah. So I think, and that's the season I am right now, because I have adult kids and I have a teenage kids. And so kind of realizing that they are own human beings and you're just there to guide them, not to kind of own them.
Yeah, guiding them. We just so hold. I think, I don't know, is that East African mom thing or African moms? Is just that we
overprotective.
We are very overprotective, and I think we have to just let them be. Of course, like setting boundaries and guiding them, not just leaving them in the wild, but just guiding them. I think it's really a key. Maybe this is another conversation, but there's something that I see in our community as well. Like we even support the boys when they grow up and they are ready to open a house of their own. Like we help them financially. Like we help, for us, in our household, we told our kids, we're not helping you financially. You gotta get a job. Once you're ready, that's when you are getting married. Don't expect any financial help from us. And maybe that's another topic, because
it is. And it's okay to support the children, but I think it's also important that they take the leadership and the responsibility of their own lives. But I think as a parent, as a mom particularly, I think it's important to understand that we also have our own lives, our own, things to do. So as I said earlier, your identity is not just a mother.
Yeah.
You have other, you are your own person.
Yeah, you are.
So every mom will go through this journey.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's hard to look at the other person's life and how they raise their kids and what they do.
Yeah.
But start where you are. Just start where you are and process that journey with your own children and enjoy being a motherhood and also being an employee, being a wife, being a sister, being a daughter. We have so many hats to juggle.
Yeah.
But we take the motherhood very seriously.
Yeah, we do.
And we just need to chill. Just
and as you
chill.
said, it's okay to support them, but when you see now the mothers who are just taking the lead, in especially when it comes to marriage, then we see that the child, your child is your child, but he's an adult. He doesn't take it seriously. And then there's that divorce or the lack of responsibility as a dad, or, so that's another topic. But this is just something that I deeply believe that we should change the narrative, the narrative as African moms. So but I just wanted to ask you, as we getting close to closing this amazing episode, if there's a mom out there listening to you and she kind of has a dream of her own to support her community, but kind of feels overwhelmed, what advice would you give her?
Start.
I love
Just
that.
Start. Because, our brain works in a way that when we think something all the time, it actually thinks we've done it.
Yeah.
It's a scientifically proven.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to do, whatever dream you have, just start. It's like me and Jim. We had a hate and love relationship for the last 40 years.
Okay.
Not 40 years, last 20 plus years. I'm not that old. You know what I mean? But it is important that you start. Yeah. This is my 4th week of gym. Fozia and I only know for 4 weeks, imagine, and we are doing episodes together. So start. That's what I advise mothers. Whatever you want, start.
Love that. And you gave us a little bit about your age, but
it's okay.
Oh, mashallah. But okay, the other thing that I wanted to ask you, is there an ayah or a verse in the Quran or a hadith that just you felt like it helped you, carried you through your motherhood and your service to the community?
إن مع العسر يسرا فإن مع العسر يسرا. So all hardship comes ease.
With ease, isn't it?
With
Yeah.
ease.
Yeah.
So know that whatever season you are in, whatever struggle you're going through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Remember that every single day is a new day.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we hung up on the past or we hung up on the future and we really don't actually enjoy the present.
Yeah.
So that ayah kind of teaches you that hardship does not last. So if you're going through something difficult right now, it's okay because ease are coming your way.
Yeah. And as there's a hadith that لن يغلب يسرين عسر, as the Prophet ﷺ said. So to yusr, because Allah repeated, فإن مع العسر يسرا فإن مع العسر. So to yusr, to ease will override the usr or the hardship that you're going through as a mama, as an individual. So that's amazing. That is, I love that ayah too in Surah Al-Sharh. Jazakallah khairan. And lastly, for all the listeners, or if you're watching us on YouTube, how can they get to connect with you, Suaad Abdulle? Where we can find you? So if you can just lead our listeners.
I'm on social media, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat as Suaad Abdulle, just my name.
Yeah.
If you pop in, it will pop up everywhere. I've been in social media over the last 10 years, so my name is out there.
Yeah.
So if you put Suaad Abdulle, all my social media will pop up.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to put all the links, your links where our moms can find you in the show notes if you listen from the podcast, or in the, like, you know, what do you call it? Show note? I don't know in the YouTube what you call it. Like, I'll put it under the video so you will be able to see it. But seriously, I really wanted to keep going with this episode because I feel like so connected with you.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of things that you're doing. Like, I don't know if you realize that, Suaad, but you are a powerhouse mom and you are really amazing at what you do. And we are so honored to have you in our African community and in particular in Kenya. And we're so honored. And I can't wait to see how far you go. And as you said, you want to extend more countries. Like currently you are in Kenya and Somalia. And I can't wait to see you extending to other East African countries, inshallah. And thank you so much for coming and accepting our invitation to the Nourished Mum Podcast. And we can't wait to have you again.
It's my pleasure. And it's been a pleasure having conversation with you. And I'm so looking forward to connecting with your moms on the Wild World Web.
Yay. Salam for now.
Alaikum salam.